Ali. So like I said, this is a topic that I feel like that needs to be covered because God does not play about his sheep. When we look throughout the whole Bible, that's the same thing between the Old Testament and the same thing between the New Testament. God does not play about his sheep. God does not play about his children. So if he is appointing you as a shepherd, if he's appointing you as a leader, if he's appointing you as somebody put in place to help, teach the Bible, help preach, help, cast out, help do wonderful different things. If he's putting you in that position, he's working through you and he's appointing you as a shepherd, then you need to make sure that you're maintaining the right heart posture when you are being entrusted with different tasks like that from the Most High Yah. It's important, fam. Because you can mess around and get yourself in trouble by not keeping the right heart posture. You can mess around and get yourself in trouble by leading his sheep astray. So it's like, and what I mean by trouble is, it can lead to death, it can lead to the grave, it can lead to punishment that can go as far as that. So like I said, God does not play about his sheep, but though we do still see a lot of different people out here playing around God's sheep, and it's a lot of different people that, like I said, being used by Satan. It's a lot of different people being used by the evil one to be an antichrist and to lead God's children away from the truth. Like I said, it's important for you to make sure that you're maintaining the right heart posture, though. We're going to be talking about different things within that, but it's important that you make sure that you're maintaining the right heart posture, because if you don't, then the devil will attempt to pervert you and turn you into a false prophet. He will try to pervert you and turn you into somebody that is living contrary to the laws and teaching contrary to his laws and doing things that are contrary to his ways. So like I said, it's a lot of different false prophets that have fell victim to this, and a lot of different people that are speaking from their own understanding, speaking for the wrong reasons, and people not delivering messages that are sent from God, or even delivering God's message. It's a lot of different people that are adding their own, sprinkling their own little, twist to their ministry and different things of that sort, just to get, inclusivity and a lot of different people involved and different things of that sort. But that wasn't how Christ was. It's important that we make sure that we don't do things in our own form and fashion, because if we see within the Bible, I feel like when we did things in our own form or fashion, we got in trouble for it. When, let's say for instance, when Aaron had created the golden calf for the children of Israel and said, this is the God that delivers you out of the hands of Pharaoh, or delivers you out of Egypt, they were trying to intentionally worship God, but they were doing it in their own form and fashion, so it wasn't righteous. For example, when they built the temple when Solomon had ended up building the temple, that temple was supposed to be a place for their worship to the Most High Yah, but instead they got perverted in different ways and kept even burning incense at high places to the Most High God. But he didn't accept those different things, and he found those different things abominable. He found those different things detestable, because it was a temple and he had an actual home, a dwelling place that he was dwelling in, and he didn't want them burning incense next to idol gods. So it's like, imagine people burning incense at high places next to Baal and next to these different idol gods. So it's important that, fam, we don't worship God in the ways that we want to, and praise God and preach God and his word and do things in our form and fashion, because like I said, it's going to lead to trouble. It's going to lead to punishment. It's going to lead to us be doing things that's not right and pleasing the eyes of the Most High. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be seen as displeasing the eyes of God, do we? Of course not.